If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your nightly dose of inspiration. It is November the 27th, 2023, and today the topic is, what's your motivation? Happy Monday. Yes, happy Monday, you guys. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. Mine was just fine. Yes, mine was just fine overall. To give you all an update for anybody that might be concerned and things of that nature. All is well. Yes, all is well in our household, things of that nature. Saturday was pretty much chill. I don't remember too much. I think I just kind of took the rest of the day to kind of think and things of that nature as well. I know at some point my husband and I had a conversation and things like that. And I wanted to tell y'all, like, that's one thing I love about my husband is that, you know, he's willing to listen and he's willing to, you know, admit when he's wrong and apologize and things of that nature, right? Which are all great qualities to have in a spouse, I would say. And vice versa. Like, I try to, you know, at least I hope that, you know, I am showing that I'm willing to do those same things, you know, and everything like that. I mean, obviously we're communicating and doing our best to figure out, you know, what things are going to look like in our household and things like that. And then I'm even still on my own, I guess, seeking the Lord about, you know, what should things look like based on, you know, our conversation and his desires and mine and things of that nature as well. So we're going to see what the Lord do when it comes to me and my particular testimony, my life, my marriage, all that good stuff. But for now, I mean, I guess in some ways we're continuing this conversation about the enemy within, because this morning, I mean, I woke up, I was, you know, pretty much up on time. If not at my 4 o'clock alarm, I remember my 4:30, even the 5 and the 5:30. So I was up for a while, but I just kind of took my time this morning. So that's one reason I'm recording a little bit later. And then 2, you know, shout out to my husband for, you know, making moves of his own this morning and whatnot. I mean, you know, again, I've been getting up early now for about, 3 years and some change. So it's kind of second nature to me to get up early at this point. But he's, you know, practicing that in this season. You know, I guess obviously motivated by, you know, the different things he wants to achieve right now and everything like that. And, yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, I guess you would say, behind the scenes. And I guess there's a lot to talk about, but I don't know, you know, how much I should share in this particular moment. But who knows? Maybe this is for, again, some bigger purpose and reason and thing for me to do in the future. But regardless of that, if we go to this conversation of what's your motivation, ultimately I would say the inspiration came from me. I took the time to listen to the prayer meditation. I was distracted. I ain't gonna lie. You know, a lot of things was on my heart and mind this morning. Not necessarily what I've just shared with you guys, but like other ideas and things that I need to work on and stuff like that. And then at some point I'm just scrolling on social media and I'm just seeing all these things. I'm seeing like really popular shows and stuff like that. And I don't know if there was that slight temptation to be like, see, this is the type of content that people want. Like, they don't want the type of content that I'm creating. They want the ratchet, right? They want the messy. They want the, the stuff that's, the issues and all this type of stuff. That's the type of content that it seems like people gravitate to. But anyway, so that was a thought. That was a random thing or whatever that I was noticing or just taking note of. And at some point, I was kind of like, there was like a little slight thing that was like, how much longer am I going to be doing this? And I'm not just saying like, what I was talking about when it comes to, again, my marriage and things like that. I'm talking about maybe GSL, maybe the juice, like those type of things was coming into my heart and mind. And then at some point, the phrase, what's your motivation, came into my heart and mind. And I just was like, you right, Lord. I mean, I've had this conversation multiple times. Who knows? There might be several juices that is called what's your motivation. I don't even know. Because again, every day I come to the Lord and pretty much be like, hey, what do you want to say through me? And, the titles and stuff like that come into my heart and mind. They might be repetitive or maybe not. I'm not sure. I just come to it fresh every day. So yeah, when what's your motivation came into my heart and mind, I mean, obviously, again, as an actor, I'm familiar with that quote and phrase, but really that is the question at the end of the day. Like, if I'm questioning, for example, how long am I going to do the juice, or how long am I going to do GSL, or all these different type of things, then ultimately it will hinge on what my motivation is. Again, it's my motivation to please God or man. That was something that came into my heart and mind, like right before I was getting ready to go live. And yeah, I'm thinking about that with a lot of aspects of my life, not just this, but, ultimately I believe that we all have to ask ourselves that question. What is our motivation? I know even in some of the conversations I was having with my husband, that wasn't about, us and, he just was talking in general about like some ideas in like a story he wanted to work on and different stuff like that. And it did cross my mind as he was talking, like, where did this inspiration come from? To create such, which is not, I'm not saying what he was creating is bad. I'm just saying that it made me think about us as humans and then the things we do and say and create and stuff like that. Like, what is motivating us to do the things that we're doing? Like, even when I took a look at the content this morning that I was just referring to, what was the motivation of the individuals that put that thing together? Yeah, you gave a platform to people and X, Y, and Z, and you, I guess, put a camera in front of people, and, how they use that is, them, at the end of the day, no one's forcing anyone to do anything. But at the same time, what is the motivation? Now, I know money is a huge motivation for people, and things like that, but then even that whole idea of money, like, I guess when you really start to break things down and go deeper, about, I guess, thinking about like, why am I doing what I'm doing? What do I really want? Things like that. If you keep going down, you'll finally see what that thing is that's motivating you, right? Like, I can sit here all day and be like, oh yes, I created this brand because I want to make money and da 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 da. Okay, why is it that you want to make money? Well, I want to make money because I want to travel more, or just keep breaking it down in that way, and you'll start to see like where, what seeds are truly planted in you to do the things you're doing. Again, I had to do that with my career and things like that. Over the years, I had to start being honest with myself about what was it that I wanted from this career as a actor or performer or things of that nature, right? And the thing that I started to notice is that, okay, my ultimate motivation, or my ultimate goal for doing or trying to get into the quote unquote entertainment industry and mainstream and stuff like that is because I wanted to have businesses. I wanted to be able to produce and to create and things of that nature. And so at some point, God was pretty much letting me know that I didn't need to go the route that I thought I needed to go, to do what I ultimately wanted to do. And you guys see the fruit of that today. Like, at the end of the day, I wouldn't say that I'm a mainstream actor. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I'm on a couple of platforms, but I wouldn't say that. I don't even think I've been on TV yet outside of being on the news representing some brands. I've done that. But outside of that, like, I haven't been on no, show or nothing like that that would be considered to be mainstream media, television or whatever. Like, and maybe even movie wise, like my movies that I've been in or that I've created and things like that, we haven't, been in theaters, we're on distribution platforms, and things like that, which I'm grateful for, don't get me wrong. And I'm not going to minimize what God has done with me, for me, and through me. I'm grateful for what God is doing with me, for me, and through me. I'm grateful for, again, this platform on GSL, even though it may not be on radio, syndicated, worldwide, whatever, what people deem to be, again, successful. But at the end of the day, it is my morning show. Like, the Juice is a morning show. You know what I mean? Like, the talk show comes out every week, and it's worldwide because, again, my guests have been international and from all over the place. And my audience thus far has been all over the place. My team that I'm working with is all over the place. So I have a lot to be thankful and grateful for and things like that. But basically, I'm saying all these things to say, like, again, what is your motivation? So with that being said, I did look up the definition of motivation. And then I'm going to just share the verses that was sticking out to me this morning. Again, as I was writing down verses, I felt like this was a continuation of our conversation when it came to, the enemy within, because it seemed to be a lot of inner reflection that was coming my way in regards to this question. And then, on one hand, I was wondering, okay, am I receiving answers for, again, the issues that, are playing out in my life, or is this just for y'all, or, who knows, but at the end of the day, I'm open to receiving from the Lord today, and I hope that you guys are too. And so let's see, y'all, what's your motivation? So when I look up the definition of motivation, it says the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. So again, that is the definition of motivation that stood out to me this morning. Here goes some verses. So Romans 7:15, it says, "For I do not understand my own actions, for I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate." There's some of us that are fighting that battle every day, right? We're doing the things that we hate. We're doing the things that we don't want to do. Deep thing. Now, some of us is doing exactly what we want to do, and stuff like that. And it's no battle for you, really. But I guess I'm not talking to you today. I'm talking to anyone that's kind of struggling with this, right? For example, God is telling you to go one way, but you find yourself going another way. Things like that. Those people, yeah, I think y'all can relate to these verses here. And everything like that. Is that you today? So here we go. Here's another verse. Romans 7:19. It says, "For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not something. I do not something what I keep on doing." You guys can look and see what that word is that I jumbled. Again, it's Romans 7:19. It might be walk in. I don't know. Y'all can go confirm what that word is. But regardless, man, it's once again pointing out this thing about we're doing something that we don't want to do. Again, I have every desire and intention to, again, walk in my purpose, keep doing the things that God has put on my heart and mind to do, be a great wife, be a great mother, things of that nature. I have those things in my heart. But at the same time, I may not be doing everything that I need to do to be that person and things like that. Again, what came into my heart and mind as I was writing down these verses is that verse that tells us did I write it down? I might have wrote it down. Hold on. But I see. No. Well, I think I wrote it down at some point, but it's the part that talks about the flesh being the spirit being willing, but the flesh being weak. That verse came into my heart and mind this morning. What got me on these verses this morning? Because I was asking the question, why do we do what we do? And I did come across a article at gotquestions.org. I did not write it down, so it's not in the Go Deeper section. But if you're listening to the sound of my voice and you feel led to go check it out, go to gotquestions.org. And the article is called something about Christians being hypocrites. I didn't write it down, but it was something about like why don't Christians practice what they preach? That's what it was. It was like, why don't Christians practice what they preach, or something like that. Check that out if you feel led to do so. I feel like they had some general answers, or some, decent answers there to hopefully help us get an understanding and everything. But again, we all need to just understand that we all fall short. We all have sinned and fallen short. Like, none of us is perfect. None of us is ever going to be perfect in this life. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't strive for perfection, right? That doesn't mean we shouldn't, walk in the way that God has created for us and things of that nature. So again, I'm still figuring out what that looks like in my life, right? Because at the end of the day, again, there's a lot of things on the table right now for me where I'm like, okay, Lord, well, is this what I need to do until things get in a place with my husband? You know what I'm saying? Like, until my husband gets into the position that he's supposed to be in, like, am I supposed to do this or that? What do you want me to do? I know what my husband wants me to do, but at the same time, it's like, again, who am I trying to please at the day? What is my motivation? So it's hard. This is hard because, again, not only am I, it's like I'm fighting a spiritual battle. I'm fighting my own, desires as well. And then, I'm trying to be, all the things to my husband that God has been to me and stuff like that. And so have grace, mercy, and understanding and patience and all those things. But at the same time, still being human and, needing and desiring and one of the things that I need, desire, and want. So it's a whole thing, And then at the same time, wanted to please God at the end of the day. So it was like, well, Lord, I don't want this choice to offend you. And so it could be a whole thing, right? And that's without me even going in details and sharing everything with y'all. Y'all can fill in the blanks of what this looks like in your own life, because I'm sure you guys are going through your own situations that are similar, that could be similar. And I'm saying similar in regards to the frustration and the misunderstanding and the confusion and all that different type of stuff of like what to do and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. So again, if this is you, I'm hoping that this is going to help. Let's keep on going and get some more Bible. Romans 7:23, it says, but I see in my members another law, waging war against the law of my mind and making me captive to the law of sin that dwells in my members. Is that you today? Again, is this holding you captive? Is this whatever it is, do you see the war that's waging? And is it winning in your life? I guess these are some questions to ask. Here goes some more Bible. Y'all, Galatians 5:17, it says, for the desires of the flesh are against the spirit, and the desires of the spirit are against the flesh, for these are opposed to each other to keep you from doing the things you want to do. So this is why. This is what's happening at the end of the day. Again, we talked about this a few days ago, but again, the spirit is fighting against the flesh at all times, right? And it's going to just keep doing that forever and ever and ever. So I guess, with that being said, again, it's like, well, Lord, I know I come before God a lot and be like, well, what do you want me to do with this? Because even, again, I'm grateful for the conversation, for example, me and my husband had the other day. I'm glad that we were able to communicate and get some things on the table and talk it out and I guess come to some type of conclusion of, what should be done and things of that nature. But I mean, at the end of the day too, it's like, well, again, it's a whole thing if you allow it to be. And so, if this has anything, if this is resonating with you at all, I hope that you are encouraged and inspired to go deeper. Because there are so many verses in the Go Deeper section that you guys can peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds about, all of these things that I hope will encourage and inspire you. Because again, if I was sit here and try to read everything, I would be here for hours. So, and it's not for me. I don't feel like it's for me to do. I feel like it's for me to, I guess, plant these seeds, and it's for you to water them and fan the flame or whatever it is, to go forth with these things that God is sharing with us today. And figure out what that means for you in your life. So I'm going to pretty much wrap it up with just one more verse, and it's Galatians 5:24. And it says, and those also belong to Christ have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. So, again, what is your motivation? Is the Father alive your motivation? Or is Christ your motivation? It says those that belong to Christ, they have crucified the flesh. Now, again, for me, that's a lot, because it's like, well, Lord, what does this mean for me? And so I'm seeking the Lord in regards to all of that for myself. I hope that you guys feel led to do so for yourself as well, if this is for you. But yeah, again, I guess I'll leave you guys with this question, and then I'm going to give you guys the Bible verse of the day. Again, the question is, who are you trying to please? What is your motivation? Is it to please God, or is it to please man? Even I was even have to break it down to, is it to please myself, or is it to please man? And that's a hard question for me to answer in this moment. I want to please God, and things like that. So, hey, as I continue to go on my journey and share and things like that, again, I think all of these things are for a bigger and greater purpose. So, again, when the Lord allows me to share more, I guess I will. But until then, just know that, hey, you're not alone out here. We are all fighting our spiritual battles, especially if we're believers and things like that. You're going to get something. Even what I was telling my husband the other night, I'm like, at the end of the day, I want you to know that I'm not expecting perfection, and I get it. Like, and I got to tell y'all, and we had a conversation as well, that there's only a couple of things that are issues in our marriage to me, right? And the thing is, unfortunately, those things are big. Like, if they were just little things, then I probably would sweep it under the rug, because like 95% of our marriage is wonderful, but it's just that at the end of the day, I don't know if it's just foresight, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm seeing things down the line that I want to address now so we don't have issues later. Things like that. It could just be, the spirit within me, whatever the case is, whatever. I'm not going for titles, but I'm just saying, whatever's in me in this season, in this moment, is wanting to address certain things now versus like holding it in and letting things fester to cause us issues later. And stuff like that. And so, again, with that being said, I hope that me sharing my testimony and sharing with you guys my humanity and things like that will be encouraging and inspiring to you. Ultimately, I've already given you the juice. You guys have plenty of questions to ask yourself and the Lord in regards to this. So let me go ahead and give you guys the Bible verse of today. It's 1 Peter 4:10. It says, as every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. Friends, I hope you all enjoy this juice morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.
Everyone is stuck at home, but life is still happening around us every day. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and celebrations. Send your friends and family the gift of wine from the comforts of home. Wine shop at home with Miracle of Wine. Wine, gift baskets, wine accessories, and more at miracleofwine.com.